A tech billionaire's son walked into Judge Caprio's courtroom that Tuesday morning, scrolling through his phone like he owned the place. Designer hoodie, sneakers that cost more than most people's rent, and the kind of swagger that comes from never hearing the word no. He thought this was just another inconveniences, another problem his dad's lawyers would make disappear. He had no idea he was about to get the most expensive education of his life, and it wouldn't cost him a dime. The heavy oak doors swing open, and Marcus Chen strolls in like he's entering a coffee shop, not a courtroom. 22 years old, but you'd never know it from the way he carries himself. There's this casual arrogance in every step, the kind you only see in people who've never faced real consequences. Judge Caprio doesn't even look up at first. He's seen this type before, the entitled ones. The ones who think the rules are more like suggestions. When he finally speaks, his voice cuts through the room like a knife. Marcus Chen, reckless endangerment, street racing on public roads, destruction of public property. Marcus barely glances up from his screen. The light from his phone reflects off his expensive glasses as he drops into the chair with zero ceremony. "Look, Judge," he says, still typing. "This whole thing got blown way out of proportion. Nobody actually got hurt. My dad's lawyers told me this would take like 5 minutes, tops." The judge's eyes lock onto him now. Really look at him. Your father's lawyers aren't in this courtroom right now. You are." Marcus finally puts the phone down, but there's this smirk on his face, like he's humoring everyone. "Yeah, but you know who my dad is, right? Jason Chen, the guy who basically built half the cloud infrastructure in this state. I mean, come on." You can feel the shift in the room. A few people in the gallery exchange looks. The court clerk's fingers actually pause over the keyboard. It's that kind of moment where everyone knows something big is about to happen. Judge Caprio's expression doesn't change. If anything, he looks almost tired, like he's done this dance 100 times. "I know exactly who your father is, but his accomplishments didn't put you behind the wheel at 2 in the morning, going 95 in a residential zone. It was content, man." Marcus waves his hand like he's swatting away a fly. "Do you have any clue how much engagement street racing videos get? I've got 8 million subscribers waiting for that footage. 8 million. The judge closes the file in front of him, slowly, deliberately. "So you risked people's lives for internet points." "You're making it sound way more dramatic than it was," Marcus shoots back. "I'm a really good driver. This was literally my first ticket ever." Judge Caprio leans forward now, just slightly. "The officer's report says you hit a fire hydrant, caused flooding, damaged 3 parked cars before you stopped." Marcus shifts in his seat, first sign of discomfort. "Those were like minor taps. Insurance handles all that. My assistant already sent settlement offers to everyone." "You think writing checks fixes reckless behavior?" "I mean, yeah, that's literally how the world works, Your Honor. Money fixes problems, that's what it's for." The judge sits back, studying him, really studying him. "Tell me something, do you live with your parents?" Marcus actually laughs. "Technically, I own a penthouse downtown, but yeah, I crash at my dad's place sometimes when I'm in town." "Why?" "How often is, sometimes?" "I don't know. Every few months? My dad's always traveling. Board meetings in Singapore, conferences in Dubai, expansion deals in Europe. We mostly talk through his executive assistant, honestly." "And your mother?" The smirk disappears, just for a second. "She died when I was 7. Judge Caprio's voice softens, but just a little. "I'm sorry to hear that." Marcus looks away, and for the first time you can see something underneath all that bravado, something raw. "It was a long time ago. My dad made sure I had everything I needed. Best schools, unlimited resources, total freedom to do whatever I wanted." "Material wealth," the judge says quietly. "But emotional poverty." Marcus's jaw tightens. "I didn't come here for therapy. Just tell me what I owe and I'll be out of your hair." Judge Caprio reaches for another folder. This one looks different, thicker. Before we talk numbers, I need you to hear something. He opens it carefully, like it matters. This is from Eleanor Martinez. She lives on the street where you decided to have your little race. Okay? Marcus is defensive now. You can hear it in his voice. The judge starts reading, and his voice is steady, but somehow that makes it worse. I was sound asleep when the engines woke me up. The noise was so loud, so violent that my 3-year-old daughter started screaming. She has severe anxiety and she was convinced something terrible was happening. She screamed for 2 straight hours. My husband and I couldn't calm her down. The courtroom's gone dead silent. Even the ventilation system seems quieter. The next morning, we found our car damaged. The car we need to get our daughter to her therapy appointments 3 times a week. We can't afford the insurance deductible, and we've been calling your assistant for 3 weeks, no response. Marcus's face goes red. That's not... I have people who handle that stuff. You have people, Judge Caprio repeats, and there's something in his tone now. Not anger, exactly. Disappointment, maybe. And when those people fail, who's responsible? Marcus opens his mouth. Nothing comes out. The damage you caused goes way beyond insurance claims, the judge continues. You traumatized a family. You made a little girl afraid in her own home. You damaged property that people depend on. All for what? Views, likes, subscriber counts? I didn't mean for any of that to happen. Marcus's voice is smaller now. I believe you, Judge Caprio says. But here's what you need to understand. You meant to make exciting content. The Martinez family meant to sleep peacefully. Which intention matters more? Marcus has no answer. His phone buzzes on the table. The screen lights up. Dad calling? Important investor meeting. Keep this quiet. We'll handle everything. Judge Caprio sees it. Of course he does. Your father? Yeah. He said not to worry. And you've spent your whole life not worrying, haven't you? Because there's always been someone to clean up your messes. The words hit different than anything else so far. Marcus sets his phone face down, but his hand's shaking just a little. Money can protect you from a lot of things, the judge says, but it can't protect you from becoming someone who values clicks over human lives. So what happens now? Judge Caprio folds his hands. That depends. Do you want to actually learn something from this, or do you just want to pay to make it go away? And that's the question, isn't it? For the first time in his life, Marcus Chen can't swipe a credit card or call his dad to fix things. He has to sit there in that uncomfortable chair and face what he's done. Face who he's become. The silence in that courtroom feels like it lasts forever. The next morning, it's different. Marcus shows up early, and the difference is almost shocking. Plain jeans, regular t-shirt, no designer anything. His phone stays in his pocket, and his eyes don't have that arrogant glint anymore. He looks tired, like he didn't sleep. Judge Caprio glances up when Marcus sits down. Before we continue, I need to show you something. I received it this morning. Marcus tenses immediately. What is it? A video posted to your channel around midnight. I can explain. I'm sure you can. The judge nods to the bailiff, who turns on the courtroom monitor. And there it is, Marcus, sitting in his expensive apartment with the city lights twinkling behind him like stars. But he looks different on screen. Vulnerable, almost. Video, Marcus takes a breath. Hey everyone, I'm not posting my usual content today. I need to talk about something real for once. The real Marcus, sitting in the courtroom, stares at the floor like he wishes it would swallow him whole. 2 nights ago, I did something incredibly stupid and dangerous. I street raced through a residential neighborhood to make content. I told myself it was fine because I'm a good driver, because nobody got hurt, because I could pay for any damage. His voice cracks a little on screen. But I was wrong. I hurt people. I scared a little girl so badly she couldn't sleep. I damaged cars that families need, and I did it all because I cared more about views than human beings. Judge Caprio pauses the video. Why did you post this? Marcus looks up slowly, and his eyes are red. Because you asked me yesterday if I wanted to learn or just pay to forget. I've been paying to forget things my whole life, Your Honor. I thought, maybe it was time to remember instead. The judge doesn't say anything, just lets that sit there between them. After I left here yesterday, I couldn't stop thinking about what you said, about intent and consequences, so I went looking for the Martinez family. Did you find them? Marcus nods. Mrs. Martinez didn't want to talk to me at first. Can't blame her. But I told her I wasn't there to offer money or make excuses. I just wanted to understand what I'd done. And what did she tell you? Marcus's voice drops to almost a whisper. She took me to her daughter's room, showed me the nightlight they had to buy, because Sophia's afraid of the dark now. Told me how Sophia asks every single night if the scary sounds are coming back. He stops, swallows hard. I made a 3-year-old kid afraid of the dark, Your Honor. Judge Caprio leans forward. How did that make you feel? Like the worst person alive. I've got 8 million people who watch my videos, who think I'm cool, who want to be like me, and I used all that influence to traumatize a child. The video you posted? What kind of response did it get? Marcus lets out a bitter laugh. Half my sponsors dropped me in like 4 hours. Comment section's a disaster. Lost about 200,000 subscribers overnight. Yet you kept it up. Because it's the truth. Marcus meets the judge's eyes. And I've been running from the truth for way too long. Judge Caprio picks up his phone, scrolls through something. Your father called my office this morning. Marcus's whole body tenses. What did he say? That he was disappointed in your confession video. Said it could damage the family brand, hurt the company's stock price. He asked me to seal these proceedings. Marcus closes his eyes. Of course he did. I said no. Marcus's eyes snap open. You... what? I declined his request. The judge's voice is firm. Your father also offered a substantial donation to the court system in exchange for leniency. Marcus slumps in his chair like someone punched him in the gut. I'm so sorry. That's exactly the kind of thing I would have wanted him to do last week. But not today. Not today. Today I actually want to face what I did. Judge Caprio sets his phone down. Your father built an incredible company through brilliance and hard work, but somewhere along the way, he forgot to teach you something crucial. What's that? How to be wrong, how to admit it, how to change. Marcus nods, slowly, and you can see tears forming. He never learned it himself. After Mum died, he just buried himself in work. Everything became about winning, succeeding, never showing weakness. I grew up thinking that's what strength looked like. And now? Now I think maybe real strength is facing the people you've hurt and trying to make it right. Judge Caprio almost smiles. Almost. That's a start. But words are cheap, Mr. Chen. It's what you do next that matters. What do you need me to do? What you need to do, the judge corrects, starting with 1 month volunteering at a community center in the neighborhood where you raced, not for content, not with cameras, just you, showing up, being helpful. Marcus swallows hard. Okay. You'll also meet with Eleanor Martinez and her daughter once a week for 2 months. Let Sophia see that the person who scared her is just a human being who made a terrible mistake. Help her understand that fear doesn't have to last forever. What if she doesn't want to see me? Then you wait until she's ready. You don't get to demand forgiveness on your timeline. Marcus nods, taking it all in. Anything else? Yes, I want you to delete one video per day from your channel, the ones that glorify reckless behavior, the ones that could inspire other people to make your mistakes. Marcus's breath catches. That's like half my content. Those videos have millions of views. Exactly, and every single view represents someone you might influence toward dangerous choices. Is that really the legacy you want? For a long time, Marcus doesn't answer. Then, so quietly you almost can't hear it. No, it's not. The judge leans back. You walked in here yesterday as Marcus Chen, influencer extraordinaire. 8 million followers, unlimited money, zero accountability. But that's not who I see today. Who do you see? Judge Caprio's voice goes soft. A young man who lost his mother too early, who was raised by success instead of love, who's finally brave enough to stop hiding. Marcus's face crumples. The tears come, and he doesn't try to hide them. I miss her so much, he whispers. Every single day I miss her. I know you do, and I think all that grief has been driving you to seek validation from strangers because you never learned how to validate yourself. The courtroom is absolutely silent. Even the bailiff looks away, giving Marcus this moment of privacy in this very public space. Marcus wipes his eyes, takes a shaky breath. How do I start? By showing up. By doing the work even when it's uncomfortable, even when it doesn't get you followers, even when nobody's watching. That's where real character gets built. Can I ask you something? Of course. Why do you care? Marcus looks genuinely confused. You could have just fined me and moved on. Why take the time to actually teach me something? Judge Caprio's smile is sad and knowing. Because I've seen too many young people like you, lost, desperate for direction, surrounded by people who profit from their confusion. Somebody needs to care enough to hold up a mirror. Marcus manages a small smile through his tears. Thank you for being that person. Don't thank me yet. Thank me in 6 months when you can look at yourself with pride instead of shame. I will, I promise. Judge Caprio stands. This court will reconvene in 1 week to formalize your sentence. Until then, I suggest you start deleting those videos and get ready to face the community you hurt. Marcus stands too, steadier now. I will. Your Honor, thank you for everything. As he turns to leave, Judge Caprio calls out one more time. Mr. Chen? Marcus stops, looks back. Your mother would be proud of who you're becoming today. The tears come again, but Marcus doesn't run. He just nods and walks out, ready to become someone his mum would recognize. 3 weeks pass. When the final hearing day arrives, Marcus walks into that courtroom completely transformed. His clothes are worn but clean, his hair's less styled, more natural. But the biggest change is in his eyes. There's something different there now. Humility, maybe, or just awareness, and he's not alone. Behind him, holding her daughter's hand, walks Eleanor Martinez. Little Sophia clutches a stuffed elephant and peers around nervously at all the people. Judge Caprio's eyebrows go up. Mrs. Martinez, I wasn't expecting you today. She steps forward, her voice clear and strong. I asked to be here, Your Honor. I thought you should know what this young man's been doing. The judge gestures for her to continue. For 3 weeks straight, Marcus has shown up at our community center every single day. He's read books to kids, helped serve meals, cleaned up after activities. And more than that. She pauses, looks at Marcus with something that might be respect. He's been real with us. Marcus stands there quietly, looking at the floor like he doesn't deserve the praise. Eleanor continues. He's visited Sophia twice a week. At first, she wouldn't even look at him, but he was patient. He brought her little gifts. Nothing expensive or showy, just thoughtful things. A colouring book, a music box that plays soft songs, things that showed he was actually listening to what scared her. Sophia tugs on her mom's hand, nods shyly. "Last week," Eleanor says, her voice softening, Sophia asked if Marcus could come to her therapy session. She wanted him to understand what fear feels like from her side. Judge Caprio leans forward. "And did you go, Mr. Chen?" Marcus looks up, his eyes still red-rimmed. "Yes, Your Honor. It was the hardest thing I've ever done." "Why?" "Because I had to sit there and listen while a 3-year-old described the nightmares I caused. She told her therapist she was afraid the loud monster would come back and hurt everyone she loves." His voice breaks. "She meant me. I was the monster." Nobody moves. Nobody breathes. "But something else happened," Eleanor says. After Sophia talked about her fear, she turned to Marcus and asked him why he did it. "What did you tell her?" the judge asks. Marcus wipes his eyes. "I told her the truth, that I was lonely and sad, and I thought if enough people online liked me, I'd feel less empty, but it never worked." Sophia shifts, looks up at Marcus with those big, curious 3-year-old eyes. "And then," Eleanor says, and now she's smiling, "my daughter said something that stunned everyone in that room. She said, 'You can be my friend. Friends don't hurt each other.'" Judge Caprio's stern expression cracks just a little. "From the mouths of babes." Marcus drops to one knee, bringing himself to Sophia's level. "You taught me more about being a good person in 3 weeks than I learned in 22 years, Sophia. Thank you for giving me another chance." Sophia reaches out and pats his head gently, like she's comforting a sad puppy. "It's okay. You're better now?" Half the courtroom is wiping their eyes, the bailiffs looking at the ceiling. Even the stenographer has stopped typing. Judge Caprio clears his throat. "Mrs. Martinez, are you here to ask for a specific sentence?" She shakes her head. "I'm here to tell you that justice isn't always about punishment. Sometimes it's about transformation. Marcus has shown real remorse. He's taken real action. Whatever you decide, I want you to know that my family forgives him." Marcus covers his face with his hands, shoulders shaking. The judge lets that moment breathe. Then, "Mr. Chen, please stand." Marcus gets to his feet, unsteady, wiping his face. "When you first walked in here, you were a cautionary tale, a kid with everything except accountability. But these past few weeks..." Judge Caprio pauses, choosing his words carefully. "You haven't just followed my instructions. You've embraced them. You've faced your victims, sat with your shame, and let a child's forgiveness crack you open." "She saved me," Marcus says hoarsely. "Sophia saved me." Sophia looks confused. "I did?" Eleanor smiles down at her. "Yes, baby. You showed him what brave looks like." Judge Caprio picks up his gavel. "Mr. Chen, I'm sentencing you to 6 months of community service in the neighborhood you endangered. You'll continue weekly visits with Sophia until her therapist says she doesn't need them anymore." "Yes, Your Honor." "You'll pay full restitution for all damages, and you'll fund a traffic safety program at the local elementary school." "Absolutely. But there's one more thing." Marcus waits, ready for anything. "I want you to make one final video. Tell your followers, all of them, of what you learned here. Not as content, not as performance, as testimony. Show them what accountability looks like when you stop running." Marcus straightens up. I can do that. I want to do that." The gavel comes down. Then this court is satisfied that justice has been served, not through punishment, but through growth. The courtroom erupts in quiet applause. Eleanor puts her arm around Marcus's shoulders. Sophia reaches up and takes his hand. As people start leaving, Judge Caprio calls out once more. "Mr. Chen?" Marcus turns. "Your father called again this morning, said your actions have been difficult for him professionally." Marcus's face falls. I know, I'm sorry about that. Don't apologize, Judge Caprio says firmly. You chose integrity over image. That's never wrong. Your father might not understand now, but maybe someday you'll teach him. Marcus's eyes widen. You think I could teach him something? I know you already have. Question is whether he's willing to learn. As Marcus walks out for the last time, he's different. Not Marcus Chen, the influencer, not the billionaire's son, just Marcus, a guy learning that the longest journey is the one from who you are to who you could be. And Judge Caprio, who's seen everything in his decades on that bench, allows himself a small moment of satisfaction. Another life redirected, another soul reached, another reminder that justice, when done right, changes people. 6 months later, Marcus posted his final video. No fancy editing, no dramatic music, just him sitting in the community center where he now volunteers 3 times a week, talking straight to the camera. Sophia's coloring quietly beside him, humming to herself. He talked about Judge Caprio, about Eleanor, about a 3-year-old who taught him that forgiveness is a gift you can never demand, only accept with gratitude. The video went viral, but not because it was entertaining, because it was real. And in a world drowning in fake, real cuts through everything. Marcus's father never called to congratulate him. But 6 months in, a package showed up at the community center. Inside was a check, a big one, made out to Sophia's therapy fund. The note was simple. From one father learning from his son. Not an apology, but a start. And sometimes Judge Caprio had taught Marcus, a start is enough. If you like this video, subscribe Justice Talks.